Masechta Bava basra daf kuf tes amud aleph. We're starting from 3 lines from the top. Yesterday we learned that the ben comes before the ach, and the av comes before, and the father inherits his son's Yerusha before his son's brothers. In fact, the Gemara Ema Dash in the pasuk when it says on the Satim is nachalas le'sheirei akarov, you should give the Yerusha to the relative that's closest. She'ed is ha'av. We said She'ed, the relative, is going on the father. Melamed is come to teach us Sha'av kain labas, that a father comes before the daughter. That if the son died without any sons, so and he only has a daughter, so the father of the son, the deceased, should inherit before the daughter of the deceased. Because at Yochel, I would have thought Yagdan Lebain, I would have thought that the father is even before the son. Talmud Leina HaKarif, but the Hay, that Karif Kaidem, that the one that's closest to the Yiddish is the one that inherits. And since the son is the closest, we know by Yiyud and by Zdei Achuzah, like we learned yesterday, the son takes over the father, and by Zdei Achuzah, he helps that the Yerusha goes back to the father when he redeems it from Hegdish. So we know that the son comes before before his father, but maybe the father comes before the daughter. And for the Gemara, keeping the linyan yibum bein ubaski hadadin, those sins been a gate to a son and a daughter have the same din. That if the father died without any children, only then could the brother be meyavim. But if the father had even a daughter, which is similar, it's just will have the same din as if he had a son, and there won't be a din of yibum. So you see, the daughter is like the son. So linyan nachla not benegay to yibum. So linyan nachla not mi beinu baski hadadinidu. So benegay to the inheritance, the closest, just like the ben is closer to the deceased over the father, so too a bas will be just as close as to the deceased and inheriting over the deceased father, meaning over her grandfather. Say Dashin that say the relative is going on the father, that it's melamed, it's come to teach us that that the father of the deceased comes before the father's own brothers. I would have thought that the father even comes before the brothers of the deceased. Talmud Leima HaKarev comes the pasuk and teaches us, since the Achames are more or closer to the deceased than the father, so therefore the brothers of the deceased come before the father. And this that it says Sheyakarev is come to teach us that the father comes before his own brothers. So why can't we dash in that way? And really, the brothers of the deceased is closer, it comes before the father. It says, the brothers of the father, we don't need a pasuk to say that the father of the deceased comes before his own brothers. Because where are the brothers of the father having a right to the Yerusha of the deceased? Only from Mikoichav, only because of the father of the deceased. So if the father of the deceased is alive, will the father's brothers inherit before the father of the deceased? He's the closest. And the only schusim that the brothers of the father have towards the deceased is only because of the father. But the father's alive, so if the father's alive, for sure he should be Yiddish before the brothers. You don't need a pasuk for that. Says the Gemara, really? But if you look in the psukim, it seems like that the brothers of the father inherited before the father. Like it says in the pasuk, ve'im ein achim le'aviv, if there's no brothers to the father, then you give it to the father of the deceased. So it seems that the brothers of the deceased come first. And the Gemara, the psukim were not written in the order. like the order. Because a father for sure comes before his brothers to inherit his son's Yerusha. So surely the pasuk was not written in the right order. And the Torah was samech on the words Hakarabei love to tell us according to the one that's closest, and it has to be talking about that the fathers it comes before the brothers. Says the Gemara this that we learned out that the father comes before the brothers. We have another Tana that learns from a different marker that the father comes before the brothers of the deceased. Right, Tana. This Tana learns it from here. Tanya, we learned in the Brayso. This is what Rabbi Yishmael Rabbi Yossi had dashed. It says in Pashva Mizbah, Ish ki Yamuz, a man who will die, uvein einloi, and he doesn't have a son. The v'havartam es nachalasei levita. You should bypass and give the Yerusha to his daughter. And really, this lashon of v'havartam is an unusual lashon because by all the lashonos of the nachla of the ben who dies, it says instead of havatim, it always says unesatim is nachalasi. It repeats it 3 times. But over here, by the daughter, it says vahavartim, you should bypass. So who are we bypassing that really it should have gone to somebody else, and we're bypassing that somebody else who should have gotten it, and we're giving it to the daughter? Says the Gemara b'Mekayim, in a place where there's the maize, the bas, the daughter gets it, and you're bypassing the Yerusha from going, normally should have gone to the father, who was more fitting to be Yedishit, and the daughter is bypassing the father and getting the Yerusha. But we're not going to bypass the father for that the brothers of the deceased should inherit. Rather, the father comes first. In fact, maybe the drasha is like this, that the daughter bypasses the brothers of the deceased, and that's where the daughter will get it before the brothers of the deceased. But she won't bypass the Yerusha of the father of Philip Bas. Even where there's a daughter, the father will get before her. The only time that will bypass and give it to the daughter, the pasuk when it says Vavatim, is if it's a choice between her and the brothers of the deceased, then the daughter will get it first. But not if the father's alive, the father will get it first. Says the Gemara, if so, in Cain, you don't need the pasuk Vavatim to say bypassing the brothers, that she gets before the brothers. I don't need Vavatim. It says beferish in the pasuk that she gets before her brothers, before his brothers, before the deceased brothers. Where do we see that? It says, if the deceased didn't have a daughter, then only then you will give the nachla to the deceased brothers. But it's mashma if there's a bas, the bas comes before the brothers. So Vahabatim cannot be used for that. It's a beferish pasuk. Obviously, Vahabatim is bypassing the father. The father should have been the Yiddish. And Vahabatim's come to teach us that the daughter gets it and bypasses the father, even though normally he would have been the Yiddish, and she gets it. So we have another makar where the bas comes before the father. According to the one that learns out that the father comes before the brothers. I want to finish off, but then only where will we say that the daughter bypasses the father? Only who could bypass the father? Where it says Vavatim, by the daughter. But when it gets to the brothers, the father comes before the brothers. That's what he learns from Vavatim. That's another mucker. According to the one that learns out in Vavatim, he learns out from the word Vavatim that the father comes before the brothers. What does he do with the word Shedei? We need it like we learned in Abraisa. It says, you should give the Yerusha to the relative that's closest. Shedei zoi ishtei. Shedei is going on the wife. And he's come to teach us that the husband could inherit the chosim of the wife. Even though we know the wife cannot inherit the husband, but the husband can inherit the wife. And the Gemara will talk about it if it's Medabanim and Medaisa. We'll get to that later. According to one that learns out that the father comes before the brothers from She'erei. So what does he do with the word Vavatim? We need it like we learned in the Braisa. Now what do we learn? The following Braisa, Rabbi Yoiba bekulan nema behem nesina. By all the Yarshim it says a lashon unisatim. The lashon nesina unisatim is not lasei. Bekan nema behem lashon havara. But by the Bas it says havara. Havartim is not lasei. It doesn't say unisatim. To teach us shein lecha adam shema v'nachlam v'shevet l'shevet elabas. There's no person that could transfer the Yerusha from one shevet to another shevet. And why? No, since the daughter or the husband could inherit her. What's the case? I'll give you a case. Bas Osher married to Chanoich ben Reuven. So the Serach, who was the daughter of Asher, was married to Shevet Reuven, to Chanoich ben Reuven. And Asher died, and he had no son, so Serach inherited it. And then Serach died, and so who inherits it? Either her husband, who was from Shevet Reuven, took the Yerusha that Serach got from her father, Shevet Asher. So either the husband will inherit, who's from Reuven, the Yerusha that Serach got from Asher, or the children who are also from Reuven will inherit from Shevet Asher and bring it into Shevet Reuven. Okay, so you want to remind the shade is Av. How do you know shade is referring to Av? Because it says Sheyavichi. Says the Yemada Benegay to Eves Achis Avicha. It says Benegay to Erva. It says Lo Yisigal Sheyavichi. Don't reveal it because it's a relative of your father. Ema say shade is Zuaim. It goes on the mother. It says shade Imchahi. It says Befesh Imchahi. So you find Shay by a mother also. Amarava, Amakra, since it says in the pasuk on the Satim is not lost in Shay love, and it ends off Mimishpachtoi V'yarashoisa. So when it says Mishpachtoi, Mishpachas Ha'av Korea Mishpacha. Only Mishpachas Ha'av by Yerusha. Only Mishpachas of the Av is called a Mishpacha. Mishpachas ain't a Korea Mishpacha. But the Mishpacha of a mother is not called a Mishpacha. Like it says in the pasuk. When it comes by Yerusha, it says by Mishpachas, it follows the father. The Mishpachas of the Aim is not called the Mishpacha, but it says in the pasuk, over here it's talking about a story. I'll give you a little background. Mincha's mother designated 1,100 pieces of silver to give to Hagdish, and it was stolen. Micha had stolen it, and she cursed a strong klala, and then Micha returned it. And she said, Baruch, she blessed him for returning it, and she told him what her intentions were, and she gave him the money and told him he should make a Pesach Micha, a graven mold for Avodah Zarah, but she meant l'shem shmayim to serve Hashem with that. And he went and he did that. He built himself a place and then he put that in. And there was a person that came from Beis Lechem Yehuda, who was from the Mishpacha of Yehuda, and it says he was a Levi, and he passed by and he says he's looking for a place where to live. And Micha told him, here's a great place. He saw he was Levi. And he's a Levi. He'll use him as the leader of the shul and the leader to serve as a kohen, as a cheshva person. And it says over there that then he was serving there, and then the Shevet Dan were not happy with that Yerusha, and they passed by, and they saw it. Hey, we recognize you. They saw this lady. They said, we recognize you. And Levi says, yeah, he came here because he was offered a job and he was looking for a place to stay, and he offered him to stay. So they said, hey, you're now the leader. Tell us, we're looking for a different place, and tell us if we'll have Atzlacha. We want to conquer this place. They said, yeah. He gave them a bracha. They ran back and they brought 600 Yebedim. And they said, you're coming with us. And the attacked and they won. And he was the one that continued. They took the Pesach Micha with them. And they served till the Golas. They were there like for a very long time. So over here it says, Vahina, the one that passed by Micha was this young lad from Beis Lechem, Yehuda, Mishpach Yehuda. He came from the Mishpach Yehuda, who Levi, and he was a Levi, who goes Sham, and he lived there. You want to go for Kasha? This in itself is a Kasha. Ahmed, who Levi. First he said he's a Levi. Alma Levi Yossi. So you see, he comes from Shevet Levi. Then, but it says before that, Mishpach Yehuda. Yehuda, so it seems like he comes from Shevet Yehuda. How do we coincide that? Only we have to explain. The Abuah, the father was from Levi, even from Yehuda, and the mother was from Yehuda. The Ka'oma, Mishpach Yehuda, and he said that he is from the Mishpacha of Yehuda. So you see, the Mishpach Sa'im, the mother who came from Mishpach Yehuda, and you called it Mishpach Yehuda. So you see that the Mishpach Sa'im is also called Mishpacha. No, that's not the Pshat. Bava is the father of that Nar, was from Shevet Yehuda. And this time it says, well, Levi, not that he was from Shevet Levi, Gavro, Mishdishbei Levi. It was a person who was named Levi. So, Micha, this is what Micha said. Look what it said. How are you going to explain the words of Micha? He says, now I know that Hashem made good for me, that he sent me a Levi to serve. And not Stam a Levi, it's a Levi that came from Maisha. Says the Gemara, no, no, it was a person that was only called Levi. He didn't come from Shevet Levi, but he praised him as if he came from Shevet Levi. He was saying Chashuv as if he came from Shevet Levi. Was the name of that young lad Levi? His name was Yehinasam. It says over there when the Shevet Don came for the bracha and came and grabbed him to go attack the city, like I told you before, it says over there, they described him, Yehinasam ben Geshem, ben Menashe, who Uvanu Hoyakaya named L'Shevet Hadani. It says his name was Yehinasam, not Levi. Yehinasam ben Geshem. And the son of Menashe, he and his children were Kahanim L'Shevet Hadani. So you see, his name was not Levi. So for sure he had to be from Shevet Levi. And this that it says Mishpach Yehuda has to be because the mother came from Yehuda, and you see that we call it Mishpachas Yehuda. We go the mother is also called Mishpacha. Amalei. So the Gemara says, according to that, you accept that person was Levi. So he says, well, the time according to Yisvara V'chi did Geshem, the father of Yehinasam ben Menashe, was he the son of Menashe? It says he was the son of Mesha. It says B'nai Mesha Geshem Elazar. The children of Geshem was the children of Mesha was called Geshem Elazar. Says Menashe, only because he did his actions were like Menashe, who was the king. Menashe ben Chizkiah was the king in Yehuda, one of the kings who led everyone to serve idols. So the pasuk was tailored this person in Menashe, this Yehinasam in Menashe, that he had actions that he did like Menashe. He was the son of Mesha. Why do he say it? And you're being told Menashe. It says over there that they're doing as a hafucha. You know that it's he was a descendant of Mesha, but he said you used the word Menashe to tell you that his actions were like Menashe ben Chizkiah, who was the king of Yehuda, who led the Yidden to serve idols. Here too, this Yehinasam, since he did the Mais Menashe, the Asi Yehuda, who came from Shevet Yehuda, was the king of Yehuda. Therefore, the Torah was Taylor, this Yehinasam, even though he came from Shevet Levi, from Moshe, but they were tailored in Yehuda. His actions were similar to this Menashe, who was the king of Yehuda. From here we learn out that with Taylor, when it comes to a bad action, so they connect the evil Maisim with evil people. Where do we see that? So he says, like we saw now, we connect the Yehinasam to the king of Menashe, who led the Yidden to serve idols, just like, and Yehonasan had the same action. And we give it an additional marker. So that's what we learn out from our case, that we're tailored in the evil deeds and other evil people, like we saw from our story with Yehonasan and Menashe. Rabbi Yosef gives a different marker. It says, it says that Adoniyahu, who came after Avshalom, was just like Avshalom, good looking, and he caused and he served idols also. I mean, he did the same aveda as Avshalom. Zag the Gemara. So it says that also Adoniyahu, who was born after Avshalom, was good looking, and he also rebelled against his father David HaMelech. So the Cheda, what do you mean he was born after Avshalom? Well, Adoniyahu ben Chagis. Adoniyahu was from a different mother, was the son of Chagis. Avshalom ben Macha, and Avshalom was the son of Macha. And now Elomitay, she also might have Avshalom, the mother of Malcha, is only because that the Adoniyahu did like the mice of Avshalom, who rebelled in the Melucha against his father David HaMelech. So the Torah connected it to Avshalom. Here also, since Yehonasan did Maisa Menashe, that he led people to serve Avodah Zarah, that's why the pasuk connected him with the Maisim of the king Menashe, who came from Shevet Yehuda, who led the Yidden to sin. Rabbi Lezer said, "La'olam yidvak adam b'toivim." One should always cleave to righteous people, meaning they should marry into righteous people. Moshe married Tzipora, the daughter of Yisrael. His grandson was Yehonasan, like we just learned in the story, who had the Pesel Micha, and he was the Kayin to Avodah Zarah. And Aaron Shanasa, Aaron who married Elisha bas Aminado, Elisheva bas Aminado, Yatzim and Pinchas. Out of him came Pinchas, who was a tzaddik. In fact, the mother of Pinchas, Lavni Yisrael, didn't Pinchas come from Yisrael? See, it says in the Pasuk, Allah ben Aaron, Lokach loy b'nei Pitil leisha. It says befedish that Elazar, the son of Aaron, took for himself a wife from the daughters of Patil. And who is the daughters? My love. Isn't the Kabbalah of Bnei Yisrael, the Asmi Yisrael, Shepit Magol Ma'avid Zara? Is it not the Yisrael who fattened the calves for Avodah Zarah? So you have to conclude that Elazar married Yisrael's daughter. So we find that that Yisrael was a closer relative to Pinchas, or ancestor to Pinchas, than Yehonasan. And nevertheless, we say he had Pinchas as a tzaddik. So you want to lie. It says that this Pitain is referring to Yosef. That Yosef, he was the son of Yosef who struggled with his desires, and he overcame them. And Pinchas did not come from Yisrael. Zag the Gemara v'haloi. We learned that when Pinchas killed the Nasi of Shevet Shimon, Zimri ben Salo, it says the other Shvatim were Hashvatim. The other Shvatim were saying, you saw this. Did you see this son of Poti? Ben Shapitim Abi Imoi Agol Avodah Zarah. This son, whose mother's father fattened calves for the Avodah Zarah, Yarik Nasi Shevet Yisrael, should he be able to kill the Nasi of Shimon and go unpunished? So from this, you see clearly that Patil, he was called Patil because Mepedais Patil is referring to the daughters of Yisrael. Zagdimar, Be'emes, Pinchas was Taka from the Tzatzoi. He was a descendant of Yisrael, like we said, but he wasn't Mamish Bas Yisrael. He was only a further descendant of Yisrael. Yosef. Either that either his mother's father descended from Yosef, or even the Ime Yisai, and his mother's mother descended from Yisai. Iavua the Ime Yisai, or his mother's father descended from Yisai, and Ime the Ime Yosef, and his mother's mother came from Yosef. Either way, Pinchas was a couple of generations removed from Yisai, and he therefore remained not affected by Yisai. So he says this, that the Gemara shows you that there were two putils. So it says this could be learned out from the pasuk that says in the Chsid Mebnois putil. It says the wife from the daughters of putil, Tate Shmamina. We learn from this pasuk, it's the two ancestors of Elazar's wife. One who descended from Yosef and one who descended from Yisai.